I'm LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
Listen, we're just two single girls from the City of Roses discussing all things love, lust, and perception.
And roses are a symbol of all things beautiful about love.
But as you know, love can get a little dirty, so we're here to talk about it.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now.
Hey, I'm LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
And welcome to Dirty Roses Podcast. Guess what we doing?
What are we doing?
We are bringing one of our very good friends from childhood who missed our reunion show, by the way. I ain't going to call out no names or nothing, you know what I'm saying?
But it is the only other young lady at this table.
Whatever. She knows what she did. But I am so excited because if you have seen on social media at all, ever in the past several years, I have made mention to this story, and she's about to kill me because she's like, I didn't tell you to do that. But I'm going to tell the story anyway.
She's going off script, folks.
Listen. I went to a private school, and I convinced my mom to let me go to a public school, and I was so happy because I was like, I get to be around black people. I'm excited, right? But it was the mixed girl in me that didn't know quite how to do my hair yet. So I get there, and all the black girls are like, girl, you should do this, because I had my little fuzzy ponytail. So this particular individual was like, girl, just put some water and lusters in your hair.
What?
And I was like, okay. So I did it, and I came to school a hot, greasy mess because I didn't know how to distribute it properly. Oh. I didn't know how to melt it, nothing. Oh. So it was, I just slapped the lusters on. And if y'all know, Luster's Pink Lotion was like the old school thick moisturizer
with water.
So I get to school the next day, and she's like, girl, you should just put it in the microwave. And I was like,
what?
I was like, okay. So I go home, and I'm like trying to figure out how to put my hair in the microwave without putting my hair, because I can't close my head.
And shut the door.
And shut the door. So I'm like, put my hair in. I'm closing the door. I'm like, not enough of my hair's in the microwave. So I go back to school, and I'm like, girl, I can't do it. And she's like, just take it off and put it in the microwave. And I was like, this is my real hair. And she was like, oh, that's your real hair? So
microwaving the hair.
It was. But if y'all see the microwave with the rollers, it was a thing back in the day that I missed until I got to be an adult. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And clearly my hair, it's just a mess. I should have put it in the microwave. I don't know.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Now we know.
But we've got our dear friend Kilaa here in the building. And I'm going to tell the story that he doesn't even know I know this story, okay?
Oh, my gosh.
So at Grant, I think it might have been my freshman year.
Okay.
I don't know. But it was like close to the end of the school day, and someone was like, Cool Nutz is performing in the auditorium. And I swear to you, I kid not, what the fuck is a Cool Nutz? I was like, what is this?
Why is it cool?
Why are we a Cool Nut? And I'm thinking like the ranch Cool Nut chip, little things. And I'm like, the Cool Nut. And so I was like, is it a talking chip? I don't know what's happening. So I go there, and he's on stage, and he's doing his thing, and he's, walking back and forth, and the whole crowd's like, yeah, we're off the front. It's like all 50 of us in the front of the stage, and we're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, Cool Nutz. Had no clue, didn't know. And it was so funny because later in life, he became this legend. Yes. And I was like, I was at one of his first shows at Grant, and I knew Cool Nutz, and he didn't know me. And even later in life, I realized that you are actually the sibling of somebody that I hung out with in school, and I had no clue. But we got Mr. Terrance, Cool Nutz Scott in the building. And I'm talking about, this is a power couple. They are both community advocates. Mm-hmm. They are both business, have an entrepreneurship mindset, this marketing genius, both of them. And we've got this healthcare guru, and we've got this music icon, international legend.
Doing it.
I feel like we're in the presence of the Carters.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to be like them when I grow up. We're still trying to figure out love. So thank you for being here.
That part. So that is our intro to you guys, and we are so happy. We've been trying to get you on the show for a minute, so we are really pleased to have y'all here in our new space. You know what I'm saying? So this is exciting. Thank you so much for joining us. Nicole, how would you take it away?
I mean, you kind of said it all. I mean, I did not know Mr. Nutz before I met Kilaa. Kilaa and I go back to elementary school, quite literally. We played basketball together. We've just been, I remember sleepovers at the house.
Good times.
We go back, and really good friend. And, her husband is just amazing. I've had a chance to chop it up with both of them. And I'm really happy you guys are here.
Over loud music in DC.
Oh gosh. So yes, we officially met in DC, I think back in November.
Okay.
And Kilaa's like, yeah, let's go out and just have a little cocktail, just pick a place. And so I gave him some places. I was like, well, there's Ben's next door, right? That's a cool spot people like to go to.
Iconic place in DC.
And it's like a Tuesday night. Okay, it's not even a Friday or Saturday. It's just a regular weekday. So I'm thinking it shouldn't be too bad. And I get there and they were already seated, but they're seated in the back. And I feel like they were sitting on a speaker.
Yes.
But the speaker was across the room. It was just that loud.
Oh,
and
man.
we had to move. I was like, we getting old talking about the music here is awfully loud. Yeah. But they were having a great time. Music was up. We ended up walking to the front of the house and it was still loud up there, but it was better. We made it work. We sat and we just talked and it was cool. So, but that was, I'm just saying, they were going in on a Tuesday.
I love it. Well, we're here to talk about just this power couple dynamic of two individuals who have amazing careers. How do you make it work? And even more specifically, how do you make it work with somebody who is in the music industry? Because that's difficult. And you are a manager of somebody that is also very iconic. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're allowed to mention names or anything.
Yeah.
Okay. You're E40's manager, like the Bay Area king, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, trying to figure out how you guys navigate marriage and family and friendships and business when you guys both have a lot going on in general. And so we're just kind of here to learn more about that, learn more about you guys. So and we want to know.
Yeah, tell us your story. How did you guys actually meet?
Okay, how about I take on the first half, and when I get to Popeyes, you pick it up from the
Oh,
other.
God. This is going to be good. Cheers.
So we both shared a friend who worked in radio. Hey, Monique.
Hey, boo.
And Monique and I go way back, really good friends. They met through work. And so one day, Monique and I are in church, and we're standing up praying, and we talking, because, we friends. We freaking frag Kiki all the time. And she's like, girl, so my friend, he's looking for a woman. Oh. And I told him about you, how amazing you are. He's just looking for a really good woman. His name is Terrance. And I was like, well, girl, if he's looking for an amazing woman, look at all these beautiful women up in this church. Hook him up with somebody.
Stop. Just taking you out the equation?
Yeah, because I was just like, hook him up with somebody. And then she was like, no, I just think you'd be a great fit. He's, in the industry. His name is Nutz. But, I said, what'd you say his name was? And she was like, Nutz doesn't know what's his real name. She's like, Terrance. I said, oh, that's a nice name, but hook him up with somebody in here. Not phased. So we go to a party. And at the party, Monique is there. She comes up with him and she's like, hey, Kilaa, this is Terrance. I was telling you about Terrance. This is Kilaa. And then he just started talking to me about my business. Like, he know me. And I was like, excuse me? And so I think I might have been really shady the first time that we met, because I was like, I don't know who he is and what you're doing talking to me about my own business. But obviously him and Monique was doing a whole lot of talking that she didn't quite tell me about.
I love best friends.
So it did not go anywhere from that first encounter. So I'm going to take y'all back, not to date us a little bit, but MySpace.
Lord,
oh my God.
He was trying to be in your top 8. Okay, I see.
One way or another, somehow he slides in my MySpace inbox, DM. Well, I don't even know what it was called.
What it was called back then.
Messenger. And he was like, eventually, we're just chatting back and forth. And he asked me what I was up to, and I said, I'm just really busy with my career. I'm a single mom. I had a really small child at the time. She was about 4 years old. And I was like, I'm working on some community health equity advocacy events. I have an event coming up. And I was just like, I'm just really, a busy, hardworking single mom. Mm-hmm. He replies back. It's a whole paragraph that I sent him of all the things that I've been doing.
That's what we do as women.
He was like, bet.
No. Even better. He replies back, single? Question mark.
Out of all the things you saw, that's what
let's get to it.
Whole paragraph. I'm talking about all this great community advocacy stuff I'm doing. All he sees is single. Girl, then he sends me, following single, question mark, a picture of myself on the red carpet at some event with this very tight-fitting dress on, and the curvaceous was curving.
Okay.
And just sends me this picture.
No context.
No context.
None.
Like, I see you.
Right.
I see
Like,
You have been
I
seen.
see you.
You've been seen.
And you know, me and my friend, I'm like, all right.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So through a lot of talking, he invites me out to a couple of events. They're cool, you know. And then one night at an event, after an event, I think it was something to the effect like, hey, do you want to hang out? And then we leave the event. I was like, hey, this is the address to my place. Meet me there. And then I called him on my way home. It's like, hey, I'm stopping at Popeye's. Do you want something?
Which one, though?
The good one?
Or the
Oh, it was definitely
The one
the
on
good
Safeway. Across from Safeway.
And then I'll let you take it from there.
And that was the because most of the time people don't, especially if they don't really know you like that, they don't think of you.
Right.
So when she called and was like, hey, do you want something? You know what I mean? And because and a lot of the times, a lot of females too, like they're like, I don't know him. I wouldn't buy, even if it's
supposed
just
to be buying me something.
yeah, even if it's just Popeyes, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, she's cool. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, I got to her house before she got there, so I was just waiting. And then somehow I just ended up making it there before her. But she called and asked me, did I want something? And the thoughtfulness of that, especially from somebody is a female. Because a lot of time it's the other way, you know what I mean?
She won your heart with a 2-piece spicy and a biscuit.
I think it was a wing. I think it was a wing box. I think.
We got the wing fling.
Red beans and rice. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those things where I appreciate thoughtfulness when people think of you without you having to say something.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of the times, a lot of people would just show up with the food and be like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't know you wanted
I figured
anything.
you was gonna stop
Yeah.
somewhere
Or
too.
I didn't know you was hungry."
Yeah.
You know, but the fact that she had called and asked, I was like, that was impressive. So,
Aw.
yeah.
Yeah, so
That
cute.
is
So
so sweet.
after that, then what? Y'all just started kicking it for real. You was like, "You got me Popeyes. Let's go somewhere
honestly,
nice."
So we spent a lot of time together in a very respectful place, right?
Okay.
Like we didn't, immediately go into like anything physical. It was just
Right.
a really solid amount of time just having conversations, talking. On the phone, in person. I remember we would like cook, and at this time we were like on this margarita kick that was super fun. But one thing I admired and appreciated about him so much was that of the respect that he had for my daughter in our space, right? Our home, it was just my daughter and I. At the time, like I said, she was about 4 years old. And he, as the relationship started to grow and blossom, he said, I would love to meet your daughter, but I want to meet her on an even field, right? Not just like I pop up and I show up in her space in her home to meet her. So we set up a date.
Smart man.
And
But also some of that was also like, I think, when you meet somebody and you have a kid, even on her part, her being mindful of you're just not introducing anybody to your kids too quick, you know what I mean? So it was one of those things too where it was just like, okay, we need to get to know each other. And then even as it applied to her,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so when we finally got to that point where we felt like, this is really getting serious, and we set up the date, and it was, this date is what was the indication that this is the man who God sent me and who I needed to marry, who was for me. And so we set up a date. And he actually chose a location. He said, let's meet at Chuck E. Cheese.
He just won the daughter's heart.
Right. He knew what he was doing.
But here's the kick. So we had a date at Chuck E. Cheese. And when I seen this grown man.
Oh, he was having fun.
Up in the slide.
In the ball pit.
And not just the slide, the tunnel slide.
Oh, this was back when they had the
the whole place.
And it's a narrow space.
He just grown.
Up in the tunnel slide, like having a ball with my daughter. I just sat and on. I was like, he's the one.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Oh, I love that. So intentional.
That is.
So intentional. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how long did you guys date before you guys decided to take that next step to get engaged, and what was that like? What was that engagement?
It was probably like 2 years or something. It was like 2 years.
Okay.
And how did?
Well, first of all, I thought it was going to happen in Maui, and all my friends did too.
Mm-hmm.
But you said it would be too predictable for it to happen there.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So we waited till Christmas. I waited till Christmas,
Uh-huh.
and she was also pregnant, and wanted to make sure stuff was right.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean, between us and just our family as
Yeah.
well. You know, and because I feel like in so many ways, you know, in our community, a lot of the times things aren't handled that way. You know, we
Yes.
having kids,
Right.
you know, stepping into other people's lives, and the kids don't have a certain view or certain image of their parents, or
Right.
you know, or the father figure or the mother figure, however it comes together, or a blended family and different stuff like that. So I wanted to make it special, you know, special for her, and also want her to know that like I was taking it serious, especially with us building a family.
Yeah.
You know, that we're not playing house or.
And I was at that baby shower too.
Yeah.
We got phones, yo. I was like, oh, this is an elevated baby shower.
Yeah.
Little VTEX. They were so nice.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love that.
Shout out Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out
it.
Tom, my
Yeah,
guy at
this is
VTech. Yeah, that's crazy. I forgot about that.
No one's forgot about that.
No,
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it's been a
is
lot of stuff. Yeah.
And so you mentioned, of course, when you guys got engaged, that you were expecting at the time. Is it hard to navigate your guys' work schedules and your family?
You wanna?
Well, yeah, at the time of engagement, we just recently had just found out I was pregnant. So it was very early on. But just kind of fast forwarding, if I think about the time when the kids were small, right? Just taking away, you know, pregnancy, like, you know, when we had our son Max, like the kids were small, and, you know, throughout, you know, our, you know, entire existence, and ever since the kids have been little, my husband's career has taken him away from home, right? He has to travel in order to make money and support our family.
Right.
And that is what I signed up for, marrying the man that I married. And so, but that does not mean that is easy, right? I would be lying if I said that was easy. The kids, it's what they know, right? They don't know anything else. They know that dad is gone for work a lot, right? So it's not like that is our normal. It might not be normal for every family. It might not be, it's not traditional, right? I have friends who have husbands in the military, and when their husbands are on assignment, it looks very different, but there's some similarities there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so it is all we know.
Yeah. But I know, no, I'm not sure specifically for you, but I know for you, Kilaa, in growing up, like you had two parents in your home and it looked very different because of their careers. Did you expect to have that home life like what you saw growing up? Was it hard making that transition, even though now today, you know, like this is what I signed up for, this is what I'm used to, but it's not like you had that as an example. Was that transition hard? And I'm not sure, were both your parents kind of around and had like the traditional mom and dad at home all the time sort of thing?
I grew up with my grandparents, and definitely had the view of two parents working, coming home. Did you want to answer a question, or did you want me to? Because I think one of the things for us is, even with what I do, I think we have always made an intentional effort to always kind of spend time together. Or so, like, if I went on tour, you know, when I'm coming back off tour, we're doing something, whether it's taking the kids to Disneyland or taking the kids to Orlando, or a trip to the beach, or you know, or we're just making sure that me and her will go do something. So it's not like, or they might meet me somewhere, you know, like when we did a tour when he was first born, and I was in Seattle.
Yeah, he was on that tour was Kendrick Lamar, Tech Nine, E40, J-Rock, and I remember driving to Seattle with Max as a baby, and we, you know, he's managing all these guys on the tour bus, and like Kendrick's sitting there, he's like, hey Kendrick, you know, this is, you know, my wife, this is my son Max, and they all know who we are, and they know about Max. I mean, like everybody knows Max.
Now the baby was on tour.
So he had, you know, so him coming to Seattle them coming to meet me in Seattle, or we've just always made it a point that, you know, of course, like I said, I'm moving around a lot, but at the same time, whether it be spending time, you know, with our daughter, spending time with our son, and us spending time together as a family, or holidays and different things like that, having an intentional time where we're spending time as a family. You know, literally because her dad's birthday is 4th of July, so we're together 4th of July with the family. We're together all the birthdays of the kids and the grandkids. We're together Thanksgiving, Christmas. We're all together Easter. So it's a lot of times where it's not like where it's this dysfunctional, you know, what people would perceive as this rap life or music life. It's more like
we're very family oriented. One thing, if I can add to that, is going back to the question about, you know, being raised in a two-parent household. We both were raised in a two-parent household, and being Black and raised, even if you're raised by a single Black woman, because Black women are so strong and they're powerful and they're nurturing, and we work extremely hard to really build a strong foundation, right? And nowadays you're seeing more common, they're single fathers, right, that are raising their children. So it's not to take away anything of how powerful that is. And honestly, single parents have to work twice as hard. But that said, there's something so important and invaluable about being raised in a two-parent household, especially with Black parents. Having a strong Black father is one of the greatest blessings, the greatest blessing I have ever received in my life, right? Because he's built that strong foundation of what the example is to have love from a Black man.
Come on.
And so even when I was out here before I met my husband, and I was just doing the most, right? And not having like that value of what it made it really easy for me to identify who my husband was. Because, you know, they say that when women, you know, marry or date, or, you know, and when they're serious about it, they're often trying to find the representation of their father, right? For better or for worse, because it could be what they miss that they're longing for.
That is very true.
And they're yearning for. Or it could be like, my father has set this example for me, and I'm not following anything short of that. And that is what how he showed up, right? Like, he has a lot of like those values that my father has. And so when it comes to that two-parent family structure, it has allowed us to set a very strong foundation. Like, you know, you have couples that might disagree on several different things. Like, there's major things, whether it's like how you raise the children, or even discipline children, finances, like the major things that can cause couples to divorce. Fundamentally, we've never wavered. We've always been aligned in how we raise our family, like how we raise our children. And so then just tying into what it is that you were saying about like the holidays, my husband and I, we've always hosted. We've hosted for 15 years, both the Slaughter and the Scott family, for Christmases, Thanksgivings, Easters. We have been the hub for our families to come together. And it's just been a really beautiful, it's been a beautiful thing that's meant so much to our family.
I was gonna ask that because I know your family personally. Like, we've been around, you know, so I know how you all get down and how y'all are together and everything. And I'm not familiar with how you all. So I wondered how you guys navigated spending time blending those families, not just your own family, but like your actual additional family members. How does that come together? So you're saying that you guys are like the glue for
We're the glue.
the both families. That is so amazing. I love that. I love the fact that you to talk about how it's your daughter, you know, because you mentioned that she was young when you guys met, but you have like really stepped in that role for her. And has that been a difficult transition at all at any point in time where it was like, has it ever felt like stepdad vibes, or has it always been like, this is my dad? Like, how does that work?
No, never. It's never been, because again, you know, like when we first met, like she said, you give her the space. I gave her the space to when she wanted to introduce her to me. Okay. You know what I mean? Now, where's she at? Let me, you know. And then as me and her relationship naturally evolved, you know, into what it is. You know, it just every day spending time, taking her to school, doing different things like that, and we have that kind of a bond that's been natural and organic, you know, and it's never been no separation, you know, and I don't treat her like that, and she doesn't treat me like that. You
Listen,
know?
they tighter than me and her at times. You know, like, I'm mama.
Like, I get some time with my husband.
No, like, you know, mother and daughter's like, your mom is gonna be like, and her dad, like, that is her confident. I mean, I am too, but it's just different. They have a very special relationship, and I honor, and I, you know, that's them.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm over here on the side.
So we talked a little bit about how you know, your job is a little less structured in the sense that tours are never like the same constantly. But Kilaa, your job is structured where it's very 9 to 5, and well, I think 9 to 5. How do you manage when your husband's out of town and it's just you this day, and the world is falling apart and the kids can't get here because you can't be in 2 places at once? Like, did you just have a really strong support team to help you out and step in those moments, or do you just put that cape on and rock out?
That's a great question, and thank you for answering that question. And I want to be very transparent about that question, because I know social media, especially Instagram and all that, it just makes everything look so beautiful and easy. And parenthood is hard, right? Especially, you know, a lot of times for the mothers, a lot of, you know, things with the children do fall on the mothers, just because of whether societal norms or just even the human nature of the nurture as a woman. Right. But our support system, our family, that hub is so strong. My husband just lost his grandmother who raised him just a couple weeks ago. Thank you. And she was the matriarch of our family. And when our kids were smaller, she really poured into us and had that space at home where our kids were able to go, so that way I can go do what I needed to do for work in my career while he was away, right? So we had that strong hub. Also, my mother, his mother, they both were equally active in supporting us.
Yeah, I love that.
Because they knew, right? They knew how it took a village. It really takes a village to raise children, and we trust in our village. We got a damn good village, and that's a blessing. Everyone doesn't have that.
Facts.
But that being said, that cape was worn. That cape was worn. But I would also say that in relationships, as it applies to children and career, it's ebb and flow, right? So there's a give and a get. There are times in my career, I have to take, I've taken a demotion in order to have the flexibility in my schedule to be able to be there after school to pick up my children, right? Me taking a demotion allows my husband then to push his career forward, to go out, be gone, make more money, so that way our family can be stable and we have everything that we need. There were times in my career, or his career, where I, to go pursue my education, he then took less work to be available for me to go further my education and pursue my degree. So when I say ebb and flow, it's always the give It's the give and take, right? And it's hardly ever like when people say 50-50, it ain't ever 50-50 at the same time.
Right.
It's going to be 80-20. It's going to be like, and if you keep in score, that's not
that part.
That's not we're not doing that.
We just
right?
say 100-100.
Right.
You know, I give 100, you give 100, and we make it work.
Right.
How do the two of you handle conflicts? Because, you know, of course, there is no such thing as a perfect marriage, and there's always disagreements when you have two different minds. What is your problem-solving resolution look like for your family and your marriage?
Well, you're better than me, so go ahead and tell your remedy.
I mean, I think it's really just being understanding and patient, and taking the time to be able to address things like with a clear head, not saying and doing things that are going to, you know, create more issues, and trying to understand it, like if I'm not going nowhere, she's not going anywhere, then it has to be a remedy, you know what I mean? Or and both of us kind of having that mindset, so trying to make sure that there is understanding.
Yeah.
Do you kind of like allow your children to witness, maybe not the argument like at the height of it, but maybe like the conflict, and then also have them witness how you guys resolve things?
Yeah, they have. We're a very close family. I would say this. I have learned so much from my husband. Like, he is one of my greatest teachers in life that has helped me to become a better person. Seriously.
Come on, teacher Nutz.
Not teacher Nutz.
I don't know, it just sounded good, you know. Maybe it didn't sound good.
You know, and some of that is like lived experience. Like, he's older than me, and so, but he'll let me like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Look at his face. He was like,
like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna do it this way. And he knows, like, well, that ain't gonna work. But he don't like be like quite like that ain't gonna work. He just kind of like allows me to figure out it ain't gonna work. And then instead of like I told you so, although he be kind of lightweight, be saying I told you so, he helps me to course correct. But in terms of conflict, what he's taught me. So I grew up in a family of it's four of us in terms of siblings, right? I have an older sister and two younger brothers. And we grew up, we would like fight like cats and dogs. And then 5 minutes later, we was cool.
Yep.
Because you ain't gonna be mad at each other up in your parents' house.
Right.
You know? And if somebody messed with my brother or my sister, like it's
a problem.
Like, you know, yeah, like we can fight like crazy, and 5 minutes later, like we were cool. He grew up with his grandparents, and he grew up as an only child in terms of he was the only kid in the house.
Gotcha.
So he didn't fight with his siblings like cats and dogs the way that we fought. It was cool 5 minutes later.
Right.
So when we got married, you know, I would be like, you know, we have our argument, disagreement. I might say some stuff, you know, as women, our tongues be a little sharp.
I have no idea.
Right? What you talking about? Not us.
And then afterwards, 5 minutes later, like, so, what do you want to do today?
I'm over it now.
What you want to eat?
And he like, hold
Hello, I
on.
thought we were mad at each other. What's going on here?
No, not just 5 minutes later. He'd be like, 3 months later, was like, you know what?
Remember that thing you said at 5:55?
And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we've been fine all. Like, I didn't say anything. And then I had to learn how to have conflicts with him and how to argue, right? How to have conflict. And it's something that I still work on, right? Because I think certain things are just embedded in your DNA from your foundation.
Absolutely, right.
But he has taught me I have to be mindful, because what I am used to and I think is normal
is not his normal.
It wasn't his normal.
That's a really good point, though, because everybody has different processes in how they deal with stuff. I know there was a guy that I was seeing where he wanted to argue in the moment, and he wanted to say all the things that were on the top of his mind, whereas me, I'm like, let's come back to this. Let's take a beat. Let's calm down. And all that just is different style of communicating, because I'm like, well, hold on. Let's not argue with our emotions. Let's have a conversation, you know, about the issue. And so just, I guess, understanding how to manage those disagreements is not easy. And so we broke up, and I'm glad that you guys figured out the formula.
his patience. He's taught me patience, but he says I've taught him grace.
Oh, okay. That's so sweet.
Because I'm more of a when people do stuff, I kind of like look at it for like I look at it like this is if you are saying and doing certain things, this is how you feel, or these are your actual. This is your actual position on stuff or thoughts, and I sometimes have to get to a point where I have to give people grace, because also a little bit of the business that I'm in, there's a lot of like, what's the word?
Cutthroat,
backstabbing.
All that.
It's a lot of and people feel certain ways about stuff, or they might not be upfront about it, or the music business kind of can cause people to behave in ways like people are pursuing their dreams or chasing things that are their passion or hunger can get in the way of sometimes your thinking, and just sometimes I can approach stuff from that position where no, I'm not going to deal with that, so let me remove myself, versus giving people a little more room or a little more space, or I guess either like she said, grace, to be able to work through things in that way, or sometimes just more room for you to. I don't want to sometimes be who you are or understand who you are and say, okay, well, that's who they are. They're going to do that type of stuff. And I just either have to deal with them in a different way, or give them the room to be who they're going to be, and not maybe take it as personal as I might take certain stuff, because I always look down the road a little bit more. Okay, if you're doing this in this situation, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah.
That's funny you say that. Like a lot of, some of the men that we've talked to on the show that tend to have like a better take on relationships also say they have a lot of foresight. Like they have like they are forward thinkers, but was used in the last, but forward thinkers where they can see something ahead of time, where they're like able to plan for something where in the relationship they're like, okay, I know where we're going with this, or I know where we're going to land with this, so I'm going to handle it in a different way because I see that, even though my partner might not see that vision. But I see that a lot of men who tend to have a more calm demeanor maybe, or are good with relational interactions with people and stuff like that, they tend to see forward more than we do.
Yeah. So now that the two of you are OGs in marriage, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't new to this.
Listen.
In the beginning of your marriage or in the beginning of your courtship, were there ever any issues with feeling insecure with your husband being on the road and constantly around people that are just wanting to latch on because, he is who he is and he has connections who he has? I mean, was that hard for you to move into that space of being a celebrity wife, so to say?
No, it wasn't, because my husband does not put himself in those positions to make me feel insecure and uncomfortable. We've always had a very close and open line of communication. Yeah. We've always talked on the phone from day one, and we still talk on the phone every day to this day. So it's just really like who he is and what he has shown. He never shown me any reason to feel insecure. That being said, in terms of people latching on to him, one thing that I'm very well aware of, and I think you have to be, it's important to be if you are with somebody who is a public figure. Right. I share my husband with the world. Right? And when I say that, like, I don't share him in terms of like, I am his only wife and he is my only husband, right? We share that relationship that no one else has. But in terms of, cool nuts, right? The celebrity, the, rapper, all the things, persona, all the things. Like, there are a lot of people along his 30 plus year career who have relationships with him. Right. He also has fans, right? People who are fans of his music, his artistry, and who he is. And so there are people that were there before me who have their own stories and experiences. And that is undeniable, right? I think music is very powerful, right? Music, you know, it transcends emotion, and it gets people through some of their darkest times. It brings people back to a time in their life where things were happy. Like, music is related to every sense of emotion that there is, right? Music can heal people, right? And it feels people in different ways. And so, that being said, I think it's important to allow people to have those relationships with him. This is a part of his gift and his artistry. And it's not, I don't get in the way of that. I would never do that. So I just think that it just comes with, understanding. But
Do you ever find that you run into some fake friends, people that are befriending you simply because they want your lifestyle and they think we friends by association? It's a come up or something.
Glamour. I be watching. I be like, go ahead, girl. I remember when you was like,
look at you at the loo.
No molesters over here. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I mean, do you have a hard time navigating personal friendships because of that?
That's a great question. My sister says that she's aware of people who ask her things about, like, oh, your sister this, your sister that. And yes, I've had, women, make mention. I remember one time a woman said to me, she was like, oh, I thought you were just a housewife. Oh. And I'm like, I got a 20-plus year career in the healthcare industry. However, so no, I'm not just a housewife, right? But here's the thing. I don't, working in the industry that I'm in, and what I wholeheartedly, like, my life's mission is about health equity. I work in the healthcare industry, 20-plus career. My life's mission is all around health equity, right? And so what I mean by health equity is making sure that healthcare is equitable. And also, there are a lot of health issues, systematic, and conditions, and even diseases that are preventable, but Black people and brown people are disproportionately impacted, right? And it's not even, if we think about, like, the social economic aspects, it also drills down to your zip code.
No, that's facts.
Right. And really then what we mean by that is really comes to an access. Like, do you have access to the proper care that can keep you alive, right? So when I think about, like, my life's mission and the work that I'm here to do is really to be an advocate and a voice to help to bridge the gap to eliminate those healthcare disparities. And so with that type of career and that type of work, there's not a whole bunch of showboating to do because there's so much work to do. My husband, his career is more public facing, and so I allow that to shine on its own. But that being said, one thing about the both of us that I firmly believe, that he believes and I believe, my husband knows that I can stand alone in a room. And my husband can stand alone in a room. And when we stand together, we understand not just the power, but the responsibility that comes with it.
Okay. Well, I love that.
I do. I'm wondering, like, what ways are you able to leverage your platform to kind of support her career and her vision and her goals and things that she's working on? Because we know that you've got this amazing platform, but she's got this work that is amazing in its own right. But, how do you support her goals and visions?
I mean, I think it comes down to, that's the thing about partnerships, is each person, when you come together to a table, you both bring something. You're not just both showing up to eat off the table. You both bring something to the table. And I feel like that's what our relationship has been like. Yeah, the stuff I do, like she said, is more public facing, or, he's a musician, or we see him doing this. But it's a lot of the times, like for instance, when she's doing stuff with North by Northeast, she might bring opportunity my way where I'm hosting the gala thing or whatever, and doing stuff like that. And then certain things she might be doing, like if it comes to different events or different things like that, how I can support her with, oh, this graphic designer can help you put this together, or you know, when she was doing Portland and Rose, which
love that.
We featured that shirt, the shirts on the podcast.
There's more coming back from Portland and Rose.
Okay, good.
Something brewing.
But finding ways to utilize my resources to help her carry out stuff, and then vice versa. Like I learned a lot in terms of like, she's very good with like event planning and her eye to detail and stuff that when I'm moving and doing stuff, I'm just moving trying to get it done. Like, you know, I'm not an interior decorator. I'm not, you know, I don't
the Virgo in her.
I don't know the aesthetics and all of that, and a lot of the time she's very good with that type of stuff. So it's kind of a union of things that come together to help each other. So it's as she's doing stuff, we lean on each other in different ways. Like I might ask her, hey, can you help me with this? Or, you know, same thing. She might ask me, hey, I'm working on this. Can you help me with this? So we try to be available to each other to make sure that we're lending that support, because it all comes back into the same place. You know, if her stuff is successful, it benefits our family. If my stuff is successful, it benefits our family, you know?
Well, you know, one thing I actually just recently saw in how, you know, Kilaa has stepped in and helped you with your career is that she dropped a track.
Wait, what?
She's a singer, evidently.
On the phone. Because you know how we love some bars and some singing on this show.
So she's being super modest here because evidently she's like Grammy-nominated. No, it's totally tongue in cheek here, but I want to hear this story because y'all posted it, and I was like, "Girl, let me find out." Kilaa has a record.
How did I miss this?
She has a whole record out there. I'm playing about a whole record.
The algorithm is not algorithm for
me.
Girl.
What?
It was
Tell me the story.
On the cutting floor. Go ahead and do the story.
So we were
never again.
We were at the studio. We were at the studio one day working on some music. It was me, her, Maniac. And we were in there working on some music, and you know, people, they get that wild hair that they can sing.
No, you guys needed someone to demo
and you said you could
the
do
chorus.
It. And
you said you guys need a female, so
and you said you could do it. You said you could sing it.
I did.
She said she could sing it.
She said, I got this.
And so, and so she got in there, and I wish Maniac was here to tell it.
Oh man!
But it was like she was like, "Is that me? Is that what it really sounds
You
like?"
didn't recognize you.
No, girl. When the engineer played it back,
Who is
in the
that?
booth, you got the headphones on, and I'm singing the track, and I'm just like, I know I sound like Beyonce. I know.
Oh, yeah.
This is what to be fired.
That's like the reels on social media when it be like they be singing and then they take the headphones off and
and that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was.
I'm talking mess. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to hear me on this track. Like, we fit to go platinum.
Oh my gosh!
Girl, that engineer must have played it back. I said, who was that?
take the reverb out of that one.
Right.
Add the echo.
Listen.
When I say him, Maniac, and even the engineers on the floor.
Oh, we was dying.
Here.
Yeah.
Damn, they couldn't even sugarcoat it for you.
No.
Nothing.
It was horrible.
Oh man.
See, but that's the thing. That's the thing is even within our family dynamic, and like we gonna laugh at each other. So
after he sent the video to the whole family,
we gonna laugh. We gonna laugh at each other.
I asked, she's like, "Girl, it's been burnt. We do not have it. There are no samples anywhere."
You it has
I was like, "Let me get to the Google machine. How do I find this?"
It is in somebody's cloud.
We're gonna find it.
I mean, you could just do it right now.
Right. That was so. Did you actually ever?
Like, no.
Did you ever produce that song? I mean, not with Kilaa on it, but did that song ever come out?
Yeah, we did. I did. I think that was for Maniac's record.
And he went back in there and sung it better than me.
No.
Or he either had some. Yeah, he either sang or he had somebody else do it.
That is.
Now I want to go find the song just to be like, so Kilaa, this was you?
I'm gonna have to dig it up.
This was you?
That is amazing.
Maniac was like, "That's you, sis. That's you, sis. That's you, sis."
Oh my god.
But I will say
Hilarious.
the question about us supporting each other's career.
Yeah.
He is like my think tank.
Okay.
And to a fault.
Okay.
Because I'm a Virgo and Nick is a Virgo. Us as
You love
Virgos,
us. You love us.
Yeah.
we are perfectionists in our own world, but our worlds look very different from everyone else's world. But we're very analytical. Yeah. So for me, it takes me a while to produce things because I'm so detail oriented. Like I think about everything before it even happens. So then I plan for it. And everything is intentional. So just the littlest things, the littlest details are already thought of.
Right.
And so when I do something, it's to the fullest execution because I am a creative in that space. And so for him, he's great at execution in terms of like, let's just get it done. And so where we then, I think we complement each other is me bringing like that level of detail, but then him and his execution of like, let's move this forward because I probably wouldn't move a lot of things forward if it wasn't for him. It would live in my head.
Yes, I love it.
Well, I would love to know, like, what is the craziest thing that's happened to you while you've been on tour, or maybe that you've witnessed? Business calls.
Business calls. Excuse me, that's E right now.
Right.
You gotta go manage some stuff.
What is the craziest thing? I'm trying to think.
There's so much.
I can imagine the long career. There's probably been a ton of stuff.
I'm trying to think what would be.
He's like, that I can say.
I know, right? Some NDAs
Right.
signed. I want to keep this this cash flow coming in, so I don't want to put nobody on blast. I know when we met Snoop one time, and we were in Mobile, and he was in a concert. And it was Snoop, Pastor Troy, there was a few other people, and we were backstage, with Snoop and everybody, and we were by the food. I told the story before when Mighty was on the show, but we were by the food, and we were just chilling. We were taking pictures with Snoop, and and the security guards came in. They was fixing themselves up, and we were like, "Oh, what's going on?" They're like, "Oh, we're just doing auditions in the other room." And we're like, "Oh, okay, what you auditioning?" They're like, "Don't worry, stay by the food." We was like,
They told them to stay by the food.
They did. I was like, "I'm gonna eat these crackers because I'm not auditioning." I was like, "Yo, Uncle Snoop, what you doing, bro?" But it wasn't Snoop. It was his security guards taking advantage of their positioning.
So you can stay with snacks.
The craziest. I think one of the craziest things. It's not always in a crazy bad way, but like in a crazy good way. It was like when she was talking about the whole Kendrick thing. Like being on the road as he was at the point we were on the road of this tour with Tech Nine. Yeah. It was Tech Nine E40 and then J Rock. Okay. And at the time Kendrick was J Rock's hype man. But being able to witness a month and a half of him doing a song on J Rock's set, and then you move forward 6 months from there, and he's becoming Kendrick. The Kendrick that you see now, that ball is rolling, and seeing that and being able to be in those positions to witness those type of things, are crazy. Yeah. Because you don't, like, if we're sitting here and somebody's like, "Oh yeah, she's gonna be as big as Oprah," you know what I mean? You're gonna kind of be like, "All right, whatever," you know what I mean?
I believe it.
So, but but you, a lot of the times you take that stuff lightly, but then when you really think about the magnitude of being in those rooms, or being in a room like when for the In a Major Way album, being in Atlanta with E40 and Lil Jon for a whole week, and then watching Lil Jon tell 40, 40 in 6 months you're gonna be everywhere, and then you look up in 6 months and tell me when to go is everywhere. And so those moments are some of the craziest. I mean, there's been a lot of like other crazy stuff on the road in terms of like just different things that you experience. Right. But being able to watch that level of greatness occur and be privy to that, like to be in a room and you sitting there and you move forward. Like even right now, like I forget what year was In a Major Way, but moving forward now to probably, what is it, 20 years now or almost 20 years of that album? But moving forward and seeing,
it's got to be more than that because we've been out of high school for
For making us old.
I'm just saying ELE was when we was like, what, 2001. So before that,
But seeing even those songs have life, they have incredible life now, incredible legs, and we're still touring,
right,
and benefiting and making a living off of music that you witnessed the creation of these monumental moments. You know what I mean? Like so. I would say those are some of the craziest things because you think about things that have changed, that have ultimately changed culture and shifted culture. Right. You know what I mean? Versus like there's a lot of stuff. I mean, in little towns we've been in and fights after shows and. You know what I mean? And
that's
different,
expected,
different crazy. I mean, but different crazy stuff like that, that you'd be like, man, that was crazy.
Right.
But when you really think about the magnitude of those moments, those are probably like the craziest.
And only a few people get to experience something like that.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, like, sitting in a room, and somebody telling you, oh, there's this guy coming out of Compton. And he's gonna change music, and I'm like, well, what's his name? He's like DJ Quick. Watch 6 months from now, and it's always like this 6 months. 6 months from now,
right.
You know, he's gonna change music, and then you move forward 6 months, a year, and this is somebody.
Even with Justin Bieber, when he was early on, and they played you his music, and they were like, "What do you think?"
No, they didn't just play the music. Just when at the
they brought him to you.
Yeah, at the radio. So we're at the radio station, and we're in like a meeting down the hall, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the record label's bringing in this little kid. He's bringing in this little kid, and he's talented, and you know, Usher and Justin Timberlake, they're kind of working with him together." And then they're like, you come down the hall, and then it's like, you come down the hall, and this little kid, he's sitting with a guitar, and it's like 20 kids, and there's 20 kids sitting on the floor around him, and he's playing his guitar, and it's like, and it's like, yeah, it's Justin Bieber, and you're like what?
You're like, okay.
And then you move forward.
6 months later.
And he's an icon, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that, that stuff is crazy. Like, that's the craziest thing because you're talking about something that elevates on a global level, like where it's changing, it's literally changing music. It's changing, culture and everything like that,
And I don't think a lot of people realize that about you. They know you either as an artist or a manager, but they don't realize, one, how much you've contributed to music, right? Yeah. And whether that's artist development, and also just like his knowledge, like the breadth and width of really the music industry.
Right.
Like he's spoken on Grammy panels, he's, done artist development, like he really understands the ins and outs of the music business, so he's highly sought after also for that institutional knowledge.
Right.
But one thing about Terrance, he's very, very humble, he's very, very helpful, so he's not a man of like, oh, I've done this, I do this. He will never do that. He just literally does his work or lets his work speak for itself.
What was your I don't know if it's special formula or what was it that allowed you to move out of just being a Portland rapper? And I say that because the city has a lot of talent and the city's often overlooked for its talent simply because it's Portland, for no other reason than the name Portland. Sometimes we have people that are just as good as anybody else, but where are you from? Portland? Oh, you can't be about nothing.
Right.
How did you break out of the trap of being from Portland to still become successful and push past Portland rapper?
I think one of the biggest things was my best friend Bosco. He's a year older than me. So when we were in high school, he graduated a year before me, and he went to USC in LA. So when he went to USC in LA, he's down there producing, and he's getting acquainted with the mainstream music industry. And so then, as we're still working together, I'm going to LA, and I'm getting to witness the real record business and be around real musicians. At this point, he had did the theme song to In Living Color. you know, he's working with at this point he was working with Young MC. He was working with who else? With Volume 10. He was working with the guys like when I said about DJ Quick, he's working with the guys that were working with DJ Quick, and a lot of people coming out of Compton, and stuff like that. So I'm going down there, and I'm getting to see the real record business. You know, so as I'm working on albums, we're at the house, and then Yuckmouth from the Loonies is coming over there.
The Loonies.
As 5 on it is blowing up. And I'm getting to sit around these guys and see and be privy to what's happening. But then I'm coming back to Portland, and I'm working on my music and perfecting what I'm doing. But I'm having the ability to do the independent thing here, but then also go to LA and be involved in the real music business. And then as I'm putting out the music, being able to take it to other cities. So instead of like sitting here like hoping, you know, like just focusing on Portland, I would get on the road and go to Seattle, you know, and go to the record stores up there and drop the music off, and then it start taking a life of its own in Seattle. Then I'm going to Spokane, then I'm going to, you know, to Eugene, I'm going to Medford, I'm going to Bend, then the next thing I'm in the Bay. So it was one of those things where I just didn't limit myself, and I also was willing to do a lot of stuff that other people weren't willing to do, which was invest in yourself, get on the road. You know, it's sometimes like, you know, we rent a van and we're gone for a week just dropping off CDs and tapes in stores. So I think that was the separation, was treating it like a real business. And at one point, you know, Bosco, we made a decision. We were sitting, I forget what we were doing, but he's like, man, we got to make a decision. Is this music thing, is it going to be a hobby, or are we going to take it up a notch?
Yeah, what you doing?
Yeah, and then we decided to take it up a notch. But one of the biggest things is we didn't have there was no blueprint for like, you know, like when I first started putting out records and doing music, I didn't have no vision of like, oh, one day we're gonna be in London rapping, or going to Amsterdam, or going to Denmark or whatever. Like, those are all things that just naturally would occur, and you'd be like, okay, well, it's growing. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where each step along the way, we're just making more progress. We're trying to go to another city, trying to be in another place, instead of like, okay, well, this plane ticket is gonna be $300. Well, I'm not gonna complain about it. We're gonna bust it down.
Out, right?
You know, make it happen.
Go eat ramen noodles for this week.
Or you're gonna grind harder and make more money so that so you can fund it. Like that was another thing, is like, it was a lot of the stuff was, you know, we were really, really pushing the limits on every facet of it. Whether is it selling records, is it trying to generate more revenue, is it putting on our own shows? You know, every one of those avenues, we were trying to make the most of it. You know, so.
I think with both of your mentalities here, it like kind of melds together to be like this perfect power couple, and we are so ecstatic that you guys have been able to share your wisdom and insight with us. If you were to give advice to somebody or couples coming behind you that, I won't say emulate you, but would like to have like that blend that you guys have, that perfect harmony that you guys have worked so hard to create, like what advice would you give them?
Well, the first thing I would do is take perfect out of it.
My bad, I know.
And it's interesting, I was just listening to Michelle Obama's podcast, right? And she talked about like the hard years, right? She talked about, and she went even deeper. She's like, how about a hard decade? And she's like, imagine, she's like, say if you're, you know, blessed to be married for 50 years and 10 out of those 50 years are hard. She's like, overall, if you look at the full, you know, the scope of that, you've done well. And so I will say that, you know, in marriage, you said, like there are hard years, there are hard seasons, right? And I don't think any marriage is immune to those hard seasons. And obviously in America, with one of the highest divorce rates, a lot of couples don't make it through those hard times. And even through our hard times, you know, we are blessed to still be sitting here today. So I would say through any couple that is, looking at us and saying like, that's the power couple that I admire, or, that's inspiring, or that I hope to have and be like, one, it takes hard work.
Yeah.
It takes compromise. It takes sacrifice. It takes being a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
A lifelong learner. Yeah. And not just a lifelong learner to your spouse. You have to be open to learning from those around you, even your children, right? Mm-hmm. No matter someone, age, gender, race, like you can learn from anyone. Mm-hmm. And it takes, we're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. We are human. We are flawed. But, through those mistakes, it's about accountability, always working to be better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be times in your marriage, especially as, marriage goes on, where you're, like you're not young and, jackrabbits forever, You're going to be like, but it's also then, as, the relationship, grows, it's like rediscovering new love for one another, appreciating who one another is as they grow, right? If you think about the concept of marriage, it's like two people coming together and being one. Mm-hmm. It don't really work like that, because two different people will never be one in the sense of having the same mind, feelings, ideas, wants, desires, dreams. It means that two people have to come together and figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
So I think, and we grow differently at different paces. And so I think it's about having also understanding of that, like, and patience. Did I say patience?
Gotta have patience.
Did I say patience? What would you add to that, babe?
I would say the biggest thing is, like, one of my things is like, even when you talk about like, especially in my line of work, not, for one, respecting the person that you with to the fullest, and treating them how you would want to be treated, and then also not putting things in your relationship that are detrimental to it, because I think that's the biggest thing, is like the people you hang around, the things that you do.
Yeah.
Like, even like for me, like, even when, like, one of the biggest blessings for me too is, in the line of work that I do, I've been blessed to work with people that, for one, respect my family, that, two, have respect for themselves. Like, if you look at 40, 40 is a married man that carries himself as such. When we're on the road or we're doing stuff, like, a lot of times his wife is there, but then also, if she's not there, we go out to eat, we do the show, and then it's back to the room, or we laughing, or we might sit at the bar and have drinks or whatever, but we're carrying ourselves like married men. You know what I'm saying? And also to be an example to our children, to our family, and let them understand, like, I want my son to, have respect for me. I want my daughter to have respect for me. And even like when we talked about, you can learn from all types of people, like, part of the reason I was able to be a father to Amaya is I was a father to my oldest daughter, Dominique. You know what I mean? And that taught me how to be a father. And then all through the things I go through in my life, it taught me how to be a better man, how to be a better husband, how to be even just a better person, And then realistically, always just being mindful of, like, if you walk in the room, how I'm treating her, how I'm treating you, that I want people to feel like, I know that if I have an interaction with him, that it's going to be respectful, it's going to be pleasant, and I know that when I interacted with him, he was mindful of who I am, and mindful of even maybe what I needed, or my circumstances or my situations. And I try to make sure, like, that with my family, and that I carry myself in that way. So that, because I don't want to have no regrets. I don't want to have no resentment, or I don't want to have people to have resentment towards me, my family, my kids, my wife, anything, because none of this stuff is guaranteed, So that's my biggest thing. Like, treat people how you want to be treated. If you know that you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you, don't do it to them.
Yeah.
If you know that you wouldn't want certain stuff,
I mean, right? No, it's
that
like,
goes a long way.
it does.
You
It's
know?
so simple and yet so complicated for some.
Yeah, because you can sit somewhere with somebody, and sometimes you have to be able to think for the other person.
Yeah.
Without them saying something to you.
Yeah.
Like I have to be able to think about her how she's respected without her having to say something to me.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be able to think about how my kids feel without them saying something to me. And sometimes, and like again, we're not all perfect, so we're not always gonna hit it 100% on the mark. None of us will. But you try to do your best so that as things occur, you can stand on who you are, you can stand on your actions, and you can know that you did your best to not try to mess something up. You know, like that's my thing, is like I don't want to be that person. You know.
I think last also for us to add would be faith, right? Our faith in God. Faith is, you know, our faith in God is at the core of who we are as a people, as a family, and you know, it is really through that faith of God that we are here today, that we solid as a family. I pray for my husband all the time. He prays for me, and we pray for our children. We not just pray for our family, but we pray for the world, you know, and all the people within our lives. So faith is huge.
And to touch on that too, like I think like when you like especially when you talk about faith and you talk about energy and you talk about blessings, like that, to me, that stuff is real, because there's been times when I see the return of that energy, I see the return of how you treat people. I see the return of when you did something positive for somebody, or you were helpful. And so when you talk about faith and you talk about blessings and you talk about the return, like I've been blessed. Like that's one of the things for me, like I've been blessed. I've been truly blessed. I've been blessed, and I don't take it for granted.
Nope.
And so I don't want to put like anything like bad energy, negative energy, or treating somebody in a way that I have to sit back and say like that wasn't cool or that's gonna come back to me.
Yeah.
I don't want it coming back. You feel me? Because I've seen times when even with me and Bosco, times when we done dumped our last dollars into something. Our last, like I remember one time, like I gave him my last $10,000 for a record, and we going back and forth buying meals. I had $150 to my name. You know what I'm saying? We were in LA, and I came back to Portland, and he called me and he said, man, and I'm talking about where we're like, we had put out an album and we're like waiting for the money to come back. But we rock bottom right now because we investing in ourselves. But he called me. He's like, man, bro. He's like, Universal offering us a deal, and I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, and he was being funny. He's like, well, what you want to do? And I'm looking at the phone. I'm like, I'm looking at my phone. I'm looking at my phone. I'm thinking about my bank account. I'm looking at all of it. But in that moment, like where we doing right, you know what I mean? We done did everything we supposed to do. We done put our last into our dreams, and out of nowhere, you know, and it's been many times like that where put it all on the line, and you sitting there kind of like, man, I don't know how this is gonna work out, and something happens. Even with our family, with our children, in our household, with our, you know, with a lot of stuff that we do. And just one of the last things I'll say, like when she talks about even with my grandmother passing, like in January was her birthday, and a lot of the times, you know, people be, you know, tired. Everybody got to get together, and you think about like, are we gonna get together for a birthday? And people are like, oh well, it's gonna take a lot. And my mom and the family were like, no, we gotta celebrate her. She's 92. She turned 92, and we all got together for her birthday. But you know, that was the last time we all got together. That was her last birthday. And so it's one of them things where you can't you can't take none of this for granted.
Right.
And when you got the ability to do right or put that energy in, you should do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing is like when we talk about faith, like I want just good energy out there. I want positive energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so amazing. I love y'all. Y'all so cute. I love it. Well, as y'all can see, we've been sharing wisdom and sharing drinks.
Yes.
And we do have on the table here our Nebula 9 Vodka sponsor, season 6 sponsor. Okay, yeah, take a sip. Go ahead and take a sip. We're going to cheers. Yeah. Cheers. All right. Yeah. Don't look at me in my good eye. Right. You know what I'm saying? But you can catch them with their 4 times distilled, their agave, all natural fruit juices, their apple cider vinegar infused vodkas that don't give you hangovers.
Right.
They got their ready to drink cocktails that we have on the table that we've been sipping on that have 2 shots of liquor in it, and you can't even really taste it. It's really good. So drink slowly, you know what I'm saying? But you can find them at nebula9vodka.com. That's the number 9, or Nebula 9 Vodka on social media. But where can we find?
I was going to say, and also if you're into supporting black business owned.
It is black owned, okay? Local,
there we go.
Pacific Northwest. We got to add that in there because it's amazing to have such high quality products that come out the Pacific Northwest, and they are one of them. Yes. So shout them out. You can get them in Costco, at select stores. So so it's amazing. But where can people find y'all if y'all want to be found?
I'll let you go first.
I mean, everything is just Cool Nutz, COLNUTZ. You Google search it.
Google
No, I'm just saying, it'll all pop up right there. But Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of them. It's just, you just put in Cool Nutz, COLNUTZ, and you'll find me there.
Y'all can find me through my husband.
Listen, she said, look.
Instagram, Kilaa Scott. I think that's a good starting place.
And you can find out about all of her healthcare endeavors because she just got awarded something. Well, it was in the process of being awarded, so congratulations.
I actually am just leaving the event, but I am one of the American Heart Association, class of 2025, Woman of Impact.
Yes. So come on.
Yes.
Women of Impact. So I'm just leaving that ceremony event, but
beautiful.
It was a blessing. Collectively, myself and the other Women of Impact, we collectively raised $150,000 in support of heart
hit her
health.
up so that you can be a part of that tax write-off when you donate to her cause, okay?
When she does it again next year, we're going to raise even more.
All right?
Where can they find you?
So I can be found on all platforms of Dirty Roses Podcast. May that be our website, may that be our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. And if you want to find me specifically, I can be found on Instagram at _NickB, that's Nick with a K. And Miss LaRie, where can we find you?
You can find me in the studio because me and Kilaa are going to be making a new album. Listen, bars and singing, all bad. No, you can find me on all social media platforms. It's LaRie. It's LeighlaRie. And again, like Nick B said, on all of our social media platforms, Dirty Roses Podcast and DirtyRosesPodcast.com. And you can catch us there, catch us here. We got all kinds of content coming out, and we will catch y'all next time.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Guess what, Rose Buddies? We are thrilled to introduce our new sponsorship packages. Be sure to hit us up at DirtyRosesPodcast.com to inquire how we can showcase your brand on our platforms.